Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take apart the chainsaw that we've been having problems with. We're going to try to do some repairs on the John Deere 755, an update on the patch wall. Check out a new addition we got, try out that new addition out in the woods, and then a little bit of extra footage with Chelsea and I doing some trail maintenance.
Boy, but by golly, it's definitely the easiest. All right, onward.
Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. You guys saw in the intro, we got quite a bit of stuff going on today, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to start with taking this little 440 apart and see if we can figure out what we got going on. So in a previous video, or a few videos ago, I don't remember exactly, we talked about we were having some issues with this little Husqvarna 440. The symptoms are pretty simple, and I'll talk about this a little bit later as well. But it basically, the more you ran it, you just lost compression, you lost power, and eventually just wouldn't run at all. And I've had that happen before. It was about 5 years ago, which is when I replaced the piston and the jug, and I am guessing based on those symptoms it's probably going to be the same thing. But we're going to do a quick tear down here so we can get a good in-depth look at it. Of course, we took the clutch cover off, then we're going to take the handle off. There's also another broken part there, which I've noticed for some time. I've just kind of been limping it by. I'll point it out right here. Yeah, fuel tank's pretty broken on that handle. Top cover. That top cover just pops right off with those 3 tabs right there. And I took the spark plug out. I just want to know what I was getting into, and it looks pretty clean. I didn't see any major issues there. Wasn't any excessive buildup or anything like that. Then we'll take the starter assembly off, which is just 4 screws. Then we'll take the rest of these screws out, which are holding the handle/gas tank on. And then there's a couple small fuel lines you have to pull off. I just always use a pair of needle nose pliers. That always does the trick for me. One of them pulls out from this side, and then I'll loosen the second one from this side. But then you got to flip over and disconnect the little fuel cartridge on the inside. I don't know what this little piece is called. I'm sure somebody does. Put it in the comments if you do. But I just call it the cartridge. It's kind of dual purpose. It filters the gas, but it also holds gas in it as well. That kind of what gives you the ability to flip the saw around in all kinds of crazy angles and still maintain fuel. The fuel tank itself is empty right now, but you can see when I pull this out, there's still some gas inside that cartridge. 4 bolts on the bottom. Those go through the bottom of that housing to the bottom side of the jug.
Very cool.
Then we'll take this magical spark creating device off of here. I still think it's crazy the way those things work, and I still am not sure I 100% understand how they work.
It's another little fossil. You're finding
Chain brake handle just to get that out of the way. And if you hear me talking to someone in the background there, that's me talking to our youngest. She's hanging out with me that day. I was not congratulating you on fossils. And you should be pretty loose now, but there are a couple more bolts coming through the carburetor that you have to take off to get the rest of the way off. You just pop that breather off.
Daddy, what is this for?
And it looks to be in pretty decent shape.
Of a geode. Like the outer shells come off, and now you're just looking at the inside of it.
And then we are finally free, and we can get a closer look about what is going on here.
All right, so we got this thing all fumbled apart. Here's the jug. Kind of see down in there a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. You can see some striations on this side of the jug in there. But I think what really tells the picture, or paints the picture, or whatever you want to say, is the side of the piston here. You guys can see there's quite a bit making it past the piston ring itself. We'll spin her around. There's that side. And you can see on the piston ring right here, we got something going on there. So that's not supposed to be like that. Also, this is the fuel tank handle component. You can see that's broken as well. So I think what we're going to do is check out a parts list online, see what we can get price-wise. If you're wondering what the symptoms were to this, it's pretty simple. When you first fired up, it ran fine, but the hotter it got, the less compression it got, it ran out of power, and eventually it just stopped running. So that was the symptom we're looking at.
This was kind of what I expected to find. Like I said, last time I replaced that piston and jug was probably 5 years ago. So we'll get some prices checked out and see where we go from there. Also in a previous video, I mentioned we had broken something on the 755. We're gonna go ahead and take care of that real quick as well. Yeah, that fell out the other day, which it's happened to me before. That thing has fallen out before, but typically I notice it and then don't run over it, and then it doesn't look like, oh, you broke it.
I didn't.
You did too. No, I did. Daddy did. Daddy mangled this thing. So we got a replacement, and I'm hoping, I think we can save this badge. Looks like we can't save that badge because it's not even there anymore, but I think we can save that badge. We ordered an aftermarket one off of eBay, and this is not something I was super excited about because it is a little pricey. Anywho, we're gonna see if this thing fits. You guys can see why I didn't want to run it without the grill. It's pretty thin. It doesn't add a world of protection for that. It doesn't add a world of protection here for the fuel tank, but it's a little bit better than nothing, so I didn't really want to run it without it. We'll see if we can get this thing to slide on.
Why did you hit down with the tree?
Why did I hit the tree with it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a legitimate question. That's a legitimate question. All right, so we know that thing fits. I'm gonna pull it off so we can throw that badge on real quick, and then we'll get it back on.
Why did you put it? Badges don't have to patch this.
Well, it didn't come with them. Those badges cost extra. So.
I want some break that again.
No, I'm just trying to open it up
Why?
so I can get to those bolts. To
I can see.
these two right here. See them?
I can get to them. See?
You can get to them. All right, let me get a wrench real quick.
Go around it.
Okay.
Works.
Just put that on there and spin it around. Can you do that? There you go. Here, I'll have that. Oh, interesting. That's all that is. It's not even a real nut. It's just a little cap that spins on. To the left, sweet pea. Lefty loosey, remember? Yep. Is it spinning?
It's not going to spin.
You may have to use the ratchet. Here, set it on the nut. Like that. There you go. And then that clicks in there. And you turn it. To make it go, you need to turn it the opposite way that it clicks. There you go. And then you can turn it, pull it back to you now. Yep. And you just keep doing that.
There we go.
We got it?
We got it. About right here?
It goes there, but it goes the other direction.
Like this way?
Flip her over.
Like this way?
Just like that. Yes. Actually, that one tab's broke, so we've only got... All right, so we got her all put back together. That looks pretty good. I'm not 100% sure that badge is at. Probably in the woods where I lost it, and I may look for it one day. But this one's on there, so that's fine. That one side was broken, but it's good enough to hold that on there. We'll call that thing fixed, ready for action. What about you? You ready? We're gonna go on a quick side-by-side through the woods. She wants to go play on the swing for a little bit, and then we'll be on to the next thing. So I've been working on getting this project together for a long time, but I finally got to what I'm considering the fun part. A lot of you have sent patches in. For those of you that don't know, I'm a career fireman. I'm a private that backsteps on an engine company, and I love every minute of it. And a lot of people have started sending patches in because I said I wanted to start a patch collection, and I've gotten a lot of support. And I know I've said thanks to everybody that sent them in, but just in case you forgot, I'm going to tell you thanks again. So thank you to everybody that sent them in. The first step was probably the most fun step. It was researching each department and figuring out where that department exactly was. Then you can see I just have cork on the backside, and then a little USA cork board there, and I'm just putting string to patch of about where that is at. It's not exact location, but it should be pretty close. I only got about a quarter of them up. I still have a long way to go. It's definitely a tedious process, but it is a fun process, and I was pretty excited to get going on it. But let's get back to the chainsaw. All right, so I was looking up replacement parts for that 440. So for the gas tank, I found a used one on eBay for about 70 bucks. OEM, you're looking around $90 to $100, depending on where you get it from. But, you know, we'd probably go with the used one, because why wouldn't you? And I looked up a jug kit, so it has the jug, the piston ring, you guys see everything, fuel line, little fuel filter intake thing that goes in the tank, and a few extras like a spark plug as well. And that's, depending where you get it, that was tough to say, depending where you get it, $30 to $40. So you could be anywhere from $100 to around $140, depending on where you got your parts from. So I had a choice. Now, before I explain the decision I made here, let me tell you a little backstory. The whole reason I got that 440, we got that in 2009. I bought a piece of property. It was my first piece of property. It was 6 acres, and it had a, you guys do the math, a 32 by 16 log cabin kit that was put on that property before I got there, and that was my first place, and I loved it. And it was pretty wide open. There wasn't a lot of wooded stuff going on, but we did do a little bit of clearing, so I got that little 440 because I wasn't asking a lot out of the saw. But if you're new to the channel, now we have about 12 acres that we kind of take care of. We've got started on a little bit of a regeneration cycle, started on a new management plan. It was not managed at all before we had it, so it's quite a mess. So we've been trying to get that going in the opposite direction. Here, I'll just show you real quick. We've made pretty good progress in the 3 to 4 years we've been here. You can see all the new growth coming up through this. It looked like, we'll just take a quick gander through the woods here. What it used to look like, that. You guys see that? A lot of that green you're seeing on the ground is greenbrier. That tree right there is pretty much all honeysuckle. There's not any actually tree canopy in it. And they look like that. You see how you got a dead tree? It's nothing but vines. That's what it looked like before we got here. And we've been putting a lot of work in to get it turned around, headed the right direction. Look at this feller. I'm telling you. And we're definitely going that right direction. But the point I'm making is I'm asking more out of the saw than I've asked before. So I had a choice. I could either buy those replacement parts, get that saw up and running again the way it needs to be working, or I could try to find a decent used one and upgrade a little bit. So you guys know what I did. All right, so this is a Husqvarna 55. It's actually 53cc saw. It's got a 20-inch bar on it. The gentleman that was selling it was a retired gentleman. The only reason he was selling it, according to him, was that he just purchased a 455 Rancher, what is what we replaced that. That was really difficult to say for some reason. The 55 was the predecessor to the 455. They stopped making the 55 in 2005, and this one is, well, just look at the tag. It should tell you right there. This is a 98. It's definitely older than that 440, but these 55s have a reputation for lasting a very long time, for being very reliable, and just being a good, tough, durable workhorse of a homeowner saw, and that's what we were looking for. A little bit more power, a little bit more reliability, something that can handle the job we're gonna lay before it. Now, I mentioned in other videos prior to this, we're saving up a little coffee can fund for a milling saw. This is not gonna be that milling saw. We may still try to do some small stuff, some small milling on these smaller logs like we have sitting here, or that small cedar over there, but we're still saving up for that 80 plus cc saw for a milling saw. So that's not what that's gonna be. But there is one very, very heartbreaking thing about this saw. I'm out of time today. I drove 45 minutes to get it, 45 minutes back. I've been working all day around the house doing stuff. We went down to the lake, did some kayaking, swimming. None of that matters. The point is, I'm out of time today, and I don't get to run it, even though I just got it. I did obviously run it when I went to pick it up, but I haven't had the chance to put it in any wood yet, and that's really gonna tell the tale of how happy I'm gonna be with this thing. So, in reality, it's gonna be a couple days of me wondering if I did the right thing. In your time, it's probably just gonna be the next clip. Ash trees. We'll take those 2 little ones down, and then I got some mounts in the mail from a subscriber, and I'll show you that package later in the video, but I'm going to try out a new mount on that tree there. So let's get these 2 down real quick. New mount on that one.
promised you guys a new shot, but I forgot I left that mount up at the barn, and I will show you that mount later and what we're going to do with it, but this is my #1 concern right now, so I'll set you up somewhere so you can see how this goes. Hopefully we can go right in there. Oh yeah. Let's give that, what do you guys think? 78%, a C+? I'll take it, it's fine. It took both those dead trees down like I was hoping. That tree's down on the ground. I was aiming for, see that tree with the hook on it right there? And this maple. I was aiming for between there so I could get the tractor and easier to clean up the top, but we ended up between that maple, and that's fine. We did break a couple branches down low, but overall the top is in pretty good shape, so yeah, 78%, C+ it is. I'll take it any day of the week. Got me through high school, that's for sure. As far as the saw, whatever. As far as the saw goes, definitely happy with it. I'm extremely happy with it, actually. Ran really well. It's gonna take a little bit getting used to. It is a little bit heavier, so as far as swinging it around and it just the muscle memory of what I expect my body to react to the saw, it's definitely gonna take a little bit getting used to, but I think we'll catch on pretty quick. I'm excited to have it. I'm thankful to have it. I'm appreciative to have it. It's definitely gonna be a good addition for the homestead. But like I mentioned earlier, we got a package the other day. Let's go take a look at that package, and then there's a couple extra just random clips I didn't know what to do with for some things we've done in the past that I threw at the end of this you may want to check out as well. All right, just a couple other things to round out this video real quick. One, we got some mail, and two, after this, there's a little bit of extra footage from our Chattanooga trip, if you want to check that out, and a little extra footage when Chelsea and I went through and kind of in an unorthodox way trimmed some tree limbs on the trail the other day. And the side-by-side probably wasn't the safest, but it was fun, so that is after this. But right now I want to talk about this package we got in the mail. Came with an awesome letter talking about the channel, which is great. This is from Mr. and Mrs. D. You can see that right there. So thank you guys very much for this. They sent a box full of GoPro mounts. I already opened the package. This was all in a bag, like this bag actually, and I just dumped it out so I could go through it, and a tripod. And I'm excited about a few things. One, they said use what you can and then share with other people if anybody else needs some of these mounts, and that's exactly what we're going to do, and I'll talk about that. But I was just getting ready to order a bunch of these, and I'll explain why. So there are a bunch of these little clips in there. I think there's 5 of them total. And I was actually just getting ready to order a bunch of these when this package came in, so this works out perfect. It goes with this little doodad here, and that goes to the GoPro, okay? And then that clicks in there like that. Now, the way most people use these, they put double stick tape on there, and then they put that on a helmet. But the way I plan on utilizing these, and it just comes out like that. I was gonna get these was for the YouTube yacht project. Of course, we're gonna cover every step of the process. But the reason I was looking at getting these, of course, for the YouTube yacht project, we're gonna cover every step of that process. Everything we do, we're gonna make a video on it. But when it's all said and done, I wanna collect time-lapse footage during the build from several different locations, fixed locations, around the build site, so when it's all said and done, we can have a time-lapse of the entire process. And I was gonna get these little clips and go to 5 different trees around the build site and screw them, mount them to the tree. So every time we go out there to build, I have a fixed mount position. I can number them so I know which they are, and I can clip the GoPro right in there. And that way, whenever we're doing the build and it's all said and done, you have a time lapse. They're in different phases of the project, but from the same locations, just kind of rotating around. I think it'll be a really cool thing. That's what I was hoping to do. So the other mount I'm excited about is this chest harness. And you guys actually saw a shot with this in this video when I was using the chainsaw. You should be able to figure out what shot that was. So if you liked that shot or have feedback on it, put it in the comment and let me know if you want to see more of it later. I don't really have the time to mess with a chest harness when I work for Dirt Perfect. I do like getting a lot of shots, but at the end of the day, I still have to get the job done that he wants me to get done. But when I'm on the Homestead, I've got a little bit more time to get creative, and I think I'm gonna start using this a little bit more. That's all we've got for the packages today. Like I said, some little extra bonus footage from our Chattanooga trip, and an unorthodox way to trim some trees in the woods. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, we're gonna do a little trail maintenance. I know it's not the safest way, but by golly, it's definitely the easiest. All right, onward. I may regret this. There's a couple small branches that are scraping the top we want to try to take out, and this just seems like the best way to do it, to be honest with you. Hold up right there. And we just got the loppers, and then we'll just lop them off. Lopper cam. There's a reason this is extra footage, because I didn't go through the effort of making it nice. You guys get the idea. This is our new rope swing, huh? You got it? What do you think? All right, next one. Oh, we definitely gotta do this one right here. All right, hold on there. All right, pull up just a little bit. Yeah, that's good there. All right, the next one. Yeah, that's good right there. Right there, bud. Let's go to the next one there, bud. What about my 3 o'clock, she says? It's like 8 right now, I think. I mean, this one.
What's that? Right there, on the leaf. Right here, look.
What?
That guy on the
Oh.
that leaf.
What is this? What is that? By golly, that may get it. I don't know if you guys can see, there's an orange marker right there. There's a bunch of flags on the trees. The orange marker, that is the Hoosier National Forest boundary. That is all, oh God, that is all Hoosier National Forest on that side. We're running pretty much down the property line. Our property, Hoosier National Forest. Oh yeah, we got some right here we gotta get. Right here now, driver. No, no, oh God. Nope, all right, okay. Well, we'll get those another time. So this is an older clip. I think this clip's about 3 weeks old now. This is from our trip down to Chattanooga. You can see there's a little stone arch bridge up there, a little walkway above us. We're walking down in a crevice where they made these walkways. Anywho, we went down to Chattanooga for 2 nights, which we do a lot of these little 2-night vacations. It just works out really well with my fire schedule. You know, a lot of families do like a 1 week or 2 week vacation a year, but we just do several of these little 2-nighters, and it works out really well for us, and we just have learned how to make the best out of that. Anywho, we went down to Chattanooga, and this was our first time down there. We went to the Tennessee State Aquarium, which as far as aquariums go was probably our favorite. Our girls love going to the aquariums. Anytime we travel, we always go to the aquarium if it's there, and they absolutely loved that one. We checked out the riverfront, and it was gorgeous as well. And then we went to this place, which is Rock City, and the next clip will be the Inclined Railway, which was my personal favorite place on this trip. But this place, Rock City, was absolutely incredible. I was a little worried the way Chelsea was describing it. It was just going to be kind of a tourist trap. And don't get me wrong, it is 100%, well,
there are lots of natural features, but the majority of the attractions here are man-made, and it was made specifically for tourism. There's a book you can buy in the gift shop, and it tells you how they made it for tourism, but it was worth every penny we spent. It was incredible and gorgeous, and the amount of labor and manual work that it took to get this place built. I mean, you can see all of the stonework and these walkways and all of these stone bridges and everything they built here. It was absolutely incredible, including a massive man-made waterfall. And I'll show you some shots of that here in just a minute. But look at that little stone archway bridge. There were probably a dozen of those little stone arch bridges like that, and it was incredible. We'll keep walking along this trail, but we'll jump to a few other features that we saw while we were there, and then we'll head over to the inclined railway so you can kind of see a few shots of that. So here you can see a bridge. This was the original bridge they built, but you can see to the right, there's another stone archway bridge. It goes to the same place. It's just two different options for you. And of course, you look to your left, it opens up to the view. And don't worry, we're going to get a better shot of that view here in just a second at one of their other attractions.
How you doing back there, Mama? You surviving?
Surviving and thriving.
Good.
So you come off one of those two bridges and you end up here. This is called, right there, you see the 7 states, which is pretty cool. It would have to be a pretty clear day to see Kentucky, I would think. You saw they had 120 miles on there required for that visibility. It'd have to be a pretty clear day, but cool nonetheless. They did have this really nice restaurant up top as well, and we actually had lunch there, and it was a pretty good menu with a pretty stellar view. You really can't beat that view. So that was a pretty cool feature as well.
It's really small for me. Really tight, Cora. Getting really tight. It's called a fat man's penis. Look this way. This is really... Oh no, I gotta go. This. See? See? I can fit. See?
Here's another example of the stonework. Oh, nope, I guess we're going to the left. This is another example of a hand sanitizer station. This is another example of the stonework. I would definitely call this a viaduct. Pretty impressive feature as well. A little bit of a view to the left, but we go across this little viaduct. I shouldn't say little, it's a pretty good size. We go across this, we go through this little tunnel, and then we break out to another observation point for another fantastic view. I know it's an observation point, the sign told us. Pretty cool pants that fella's got there. And then over here is the man-made waterfall I was talking about. That waterfall was built in the 1960s. It's 100% man-made. They're not shy about that, they'll tell you. The original pump was a 1,000 gallon per minute pump. I don't know what they run now, but we found that in a book that I bought while I was there. We had an idea while we were there. So we're gonna have the YouTube Yacht project, right? And we're gonna rent that out to people as a rental cabin. And we thought about, we go on these little trips, we should start buying informational books of those places we go, and then we can write on the book a video associated with that trip, so people staying in the cabin, if they get bored and they want something to do, they can take a gander at those books, and then they can check out the video of that trip for themselves. We thought that might be kind of cool. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Anywho, this was my absolute favorite part of the trip for me personally. I have an absolute infatuation with what I would call impossible infrastructure. Infrastructure that was proposed and everybody said it couldn't be done. This is exactly that. This is the inclined railway. It was originally built, obviously, to move materials, supplies, people, you name it, up and down this mountainside before the highway system was built. Now, obviously, there's a highway that goes to the top of the mountain now, so this is more of just a tourism thing, but it's still incredibly impressive. So there's 2 cars, and there's a cable. You can kind of see the cable in the middle of the track there. There's a car attached to each end of the cable, and then there's a machine drive at the very top. And there's a few clips of that towards the end of this that we'll show you. And it's really hard to illustrate how incredibly steep this is, but, and I know I have this right for a fact because it was plastered all over the merchandise in the gift shop at the top of the hill. The steepest part of this grade is 72%. 72%. which is insane. And there you are looking down the steepest part. This is at the very top. Absolutely incredible. This is looking down from their observation tower at the top and then looking out at the view. And we started right down there. Straight shot to it. And then this is the very top of the observation tower they have. This next clip here.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
And then here's a shot of the car we rode up on going back down. And then we'll speed it up, kind of a little bit of a quick time-lapsing so you can kind of see how it just disappears. Pretty awesome. At least I thought it was. And then we have a few shots in the machine room. You can kind of see the giant machinery. There was not a lot of information about this part though, which was kind of a bummer. But you can see some of the basic principles here at work. There's obviously some kind of mechanical advantage here with these giant pulleys in the center, the cable running over the top, and then there's a pretty good sized electric motor here. But like I said, we'll probably look something up in the future because I am pretty curious about how all of that works. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this extra footage. This was a quick trip for us down to Chattanooga, Tennessee. As always, appreciate you guys watching. I truly mean that, and we'll catch you on the next one.